Hey family, welcome back to Simply a Better You. I am inviting you today to join me in my kitchen on my journey as I'm making lunch for the girls. Today I am whipping up some Greek hamburgers, some roasted beets, and roasted butternut squash. Our butternut squash we actually grew in our garden, so I'm trying to go ahead and finish using up the rest of these so that we don't have anything that has gone to waste. Every about 2 to 3 weeks, I pull the basket out and kind of rotate the squash in there to see is anything gone bad, is anything getting soft, or pull anything out that has kind of gotten yucky. So I want to go ahead and roast up the rest of these. We're getting that much closer to spring. I've already pulled out my seeds. I'm starting to make my plan. I'm really itching to get things planted. Yesterday, we had a high of 60 and I didn't know what to do with myself. I mean, we went outside to be outside. We turned off all the heaters in the house. It was wonderful. And today it's cold. So I know our weather here in Kentucky is definitely confused. Yesterday I was in a tank top, believe it or not. It was so nice in the house. I started off in a sweater and I eventually took that off and I was just wearing my tank top. And today I'm back in fluffy Sherpa wear. So the weather has chilled back down and I know it's going to continue to drop, but it was nice to have that one warm day to just give us that little push of, yes, spring is coming, regardless of what that groundhog said. Spring is coming. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and start working on our lunch. Girls are hungry, so I know they're going to want to eat. And later at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a sweet treat. I will be making a strawberry oatmeal bar for my girls to just snack on. It's similar, I looked at this recipe and I would say it's similar to a cookie. I don't care what kind of oatmeal is in this, but the fact that it is loaded with sugar and butter, this reminds me of a cookie. So I am definitely calling this a sweet treat. This is not a breakfast oatmeal bar. So I'm going to start in on my roasted beets here. I'm going to add a little bit of avocado oil to each of these, some salt and pepper, and I am going to roast these in a little foil packet for about 30 to 60 minutes. That depends, of course, on your oven, your temperature, and the beet size. The bigger beet's going to take longer. You can put these all in one pack if you would like. I'm doing mine individually. I am going to roast these on the same pan as my butternut squash. Now for the butternut squash, you are going to need to peel the outside of it. I find that a vegetable peeler works great for me, but you can use a knife. It's whatever works best for you. I've seen people cut these in half and peel first, or peel the whole thing first. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do this. I just do what's easiest for me. I then cut them in half and I scoop out the seeds in the middle with a spoon. Very similar to scooping out the seeds of a pumpkin. Now remember, you can keep these seeds if you would like for your garden come this spring. Then I chop these up into about an inch size. Try to keep them all even, that way they cook evenly. This is 3 small to medium butternut squash. I am adding some salt and pepper and avocado oil to this. Mix it up real good to make sure each piece is coated. And then you will want to add these to a lined baking sheet. These are going to cook with my beets. We're going to cook them all together. I'm expecting this to take about 35 minutes. You do want to make sure that you have an even layer, so spread these out some. You don't want them on top of each other. And we're going to toss these in the oven at 400 degrees. Now let's work on our Greek burgers. I am using ground lamb, some cilantro, diced onions, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, basil, dill, and oregano. You can put in there whatever you would like. These are just some flavors that I like in my seasoning. You want to get a good hot cast iron skillet, put a little bit of oil in the pan. Make whatever size burger you want. But make sure when you put that burger in the pan, it sizzles. You want to caramelize those onions really well. Don't fear, the cilantro does not burn. I have this on a lower heat, especially if you're using a gas stove and a cast iron pan. This pan is hot. I am then going to take my burgers, and it is totally up to you. You can wrap these in lettuce for more of like a lettuce burger wrap, or you could chop them up like I am going to do and put them over a spring mix. Now you can put whatever you would like on top of your salad. I use a dressing that I make at home, and I usually add some olives, maybe some red onions. This one I am putting pumpkin seeds on, some Guatemala olives, and then my Greek burger. To the top of this, I'm also going to add a little bit of goat cheese. If you are trying to avoid dairy, of course you can omit this, but I seem to be doing okay with goat cheese. And there you go. Now I'm going to also add some beets to the top of this salad. So you want to let these cool until you can handle them, and then you are going to cut the ends off. Now make sure you are protecting your countertops. If you want to wear gloves, you can wear gloves. Your fingers are going to turn purple, and anything this beet touches is going to turn purple. You can use your fingers to peel the skins off, or even your knife. I'm not quite sure why we peel the skins off. I have eaten them with the skins on and without the skins on. I think it has something to do with a very earthy taste, and some people say they taste like dirt, so peeling the skins off might help, but I'm not sure. They taste the same either way to me. Quarter these up into some bite-sized pieces, and you can eat these on a salad by themselves. I love them with an over easy egg in the morning. Totally up to you. Also, right after you're done handling your beets, wash your hands right away, and it does take the majority of the purple off of your fingers. Now once all of this has cooled, you can go ahead and put this into whatever kind of storage container you would like. Just don't add hot food to a plastic container, please. This way I have this as my meal plan for the week. I can eat this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or whenever I would like. So now let's start working on this sweet treat. This is a strawberry oatmeal bar. This is the first time I am doing this recipe. You're going to need 2 sticks of butter, 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of oatmeal. Doesn't specify a specific type of oatmeal. 1 cup packed brown sugar. You're going to see me add the brown sugar, and this is about 1/2 cup that I'm using. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then you are going to need 1 10 to 12 ounce jar of strawberry preserves. If you do not want to use strawberry preserves, Get some fresh strawberries and kind of mash them up. You can add a little bit of sugar to that to help bring out the juices, or just use the strawberries by themselves. That'll really help kind of cut back on the sugar that is going into this. Now, I read this recipe a few times and I was a little skeptical. I've always had to melt the butter in the past. This specifically told me to cut it up into pieces. And I just didn't see how this was going to work. I even second guessed myself and thought maybe I should pull this out and melt this. But I said, no, you know what you do. You follow the recipe as it instructs the first time through, and then you can tweak it from there if you decide this is a recipe that you would like to keep. So I did as it had instructed. I cut it up, I mixed it in there. It didn't say to mash the butter up or anything, but then to sprinkle it in the pan and firmly press the butter down in the mixture. And I kept reading it over and over again, like, now wait a second, am I missing a step? So I followed the instructions, sprinkled half of it into the bottom of the pan, and then you're going to add the preserves and then sprinkle the rest of it on top. I tried using my hand. I used the bottom of the measuring cup, anything to kind of push and press the butter down into it. It did make it kind of difficult to add the preserves because the flour and the oats kept picking up and getting mixed into it. But I got it added to there and kind of spreaded it out. Fingers always work best. I sprinkled the rest on top. Said a little prayer. Please let this work. And I was surprised. It turned out wonderful. It did set up after you let it cool, and it cut out nicely. I was worried that it was going to be kind of soft or kind of soggy, but it did firm up like an oatmeal bar. And there you go. Go for it. Tell us what you think. It's a little salty, but it's good. It must be all the butter that's in it. Okay, so there you have it. An honest opinion from an 8-year-old. I didn't put as much sugar in that as the recipe called for. So I can see why it's not overly sweet, but I was thinking with putting the preserves in there, that already has a lot of sugar in it already. So she's eating it. She took it into the other room. So I was a little worried about the recipe. I've done some of these recipes in the past and it's always had me melt the butter, and this one had me cut up the pieces. I'm happy that it turned out because I was a little worried. But it's still a little warm, but all in all, it is firming up so that you can actually hold it like, you know, a cookie or an oatmeal bar. But other than that, I am going to get ready to jump in and make some dinner here. I'm going to go ahead and make a quick, like, I would call it a hamburger pot pie. Mom's creation. But guys, thank you so much for joining me here today. And if you are on your own healing journey to better health, better life, and a better you, I invite you to join me back here next week. I will be sharing some more recipes, some more information about detoxing, as well as removing some things from your lifestyle and your diet to help you along the way. So guys, thank you for joining me on my journey today, and I bless you on yours.